Season 4 of Call of Duty Warzone's sort of Vanguard year of content is about to begin on June 22nd, so that's next Wednesday when I'm recording this video. And there's so much content coming to the game. There's a huge number of different things, whether you want to play Warzone, whether you want to play Vanguard, there's even some decent stuff coming to multiplayer for once. So in this video, I'm going to break down absolutely everything. If you like it, if you find it useful, please don't forget to leave a like on the video, consider subscribing if you're not already, and let's get on with it. So right away at the beginning, you can see this huge roadmap. It'll give us some headlines of things that we're going to look at. We've got a new resurgence map coming to Warzone. It's called Fortune's Keep. We've got an update to Caldera, so we've got Storage Town, we've got some new points of interest, we've got the Mercenary Vaults, which it doesn't give us that much information on. We've also got reduced vegetation, a little bit more on that later. Loads of new features coming to Warzone, there's a lot more than I was expecting with that. Some new modes, we've got a new map coming to Vanguard for multiplayer, just one, which is a little bit of a shame. Then another map coming later in season, as has kind of become tradition now. We've got a new mode, gun games coming back, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. And then we've got the big thing, we've got round-based zombies returning to Vanguard with Shino Numa, and there's quite a lot of information about that, which would be awesome. And then there's all the stuff that I don't really care about, so some new weapons, new operators, new bundles, and all of that kind of stuff. So let's get dug in. Straight away, it's talking about what's happening with Warzone, and we've got this new map, Fortune's Keep, that you can see a picture of there. It looks pretty cool. They talk about the fact it's a brand new Battle Royale map. Apparently the whole thing's been designed by High Moon Studios, which is kind of interesting. I always like it when they tell us which studio's been working on what. So like Beanox were working on some of the events last year. High Moon Studios have created this map. I find that kind of stuff kind of interesting. And then there's Caldera updates, some new features and stuff like that. So let's break that down. They talked to us about Fortune's Keep. I did do a whole video breaking down Fortune's Keep, looking at the map, looking at the trailer that they put out. It looks really, really cool. They've said, interestingly, it's roughly the same size as Rebirth Island. I know J-God was doing some sort of maths, trying to work out using the grid system and stuff and line it all up. He got it out as coming in at over 3 times as big as Rebirth Island. When I was looking at it, I thought it was like 2.5 times as big. This looks like, from what they're saying, it's just roughly the same size. So it might be that some of the playable space is not as obvious as we thought. You know, maybe there's some rocks and stuff that are impassable, but it'll be interesting to see. And it says there's 4 distinct points of interest. So think on Rebirth Island, you don't actually have that many big points of interest. You've got like Nova 6, chemical, prison, bioweapons, security, and then kind of control and stuff like that, then some smaller places. And this has got town, which obviously has some places within it, like the clock tower, etc., loads and loads of buildings. Then there's an interesting bit here where it says the graveyard seems to have been grave robbed multiple times over. Not quite sure what that's about. There's a bit of me that's thinking like, oh, that's interesting. Like, are there going to be some open crypts? Are we going to be able to go underground in the graveyard? That could be kind of cool if there's like a spooky bit down there, but not really sure what that's about. Then you've got Smuggler's Cove. We've seen like a lot of these sort of images before, and it talks about the fact there's massive holes in the earth and a lighthouse and stuff. It talks about Keep, which is obviously sort of the main bit of Fortune's Keep, and it says it's a mercenaries headquarters and hideout. You can go on ramparts and watchtowers, and then there's also redeploy balloons about. A little bit more on redeploy balloons later. There's something really interesting about those. Or sneak into the area using the island tunnel system, and then you've got the winery, which is a huge place. It says it's inspired by traditional 3-lane maps, which is kind of interesting, and it's got a helipad, it's got multiple military tents, and you can go into the bay and sort of go up through the winery and from Keep. Now, going on to some of the features, this is a bit more interesting because this map has some interesting things that aren't on the other maps. So it says it's got a black market run contract. This is a new contract that, as far as I can tell, is only available on this map. And it says that you can get your hands on off-market loot by accepting the new black market run contract, challenging you to reach the black market buy station before the timer expires. Spend cash on items not available at normal buy stations or as ground loot, such as, and I don't think it explains this anywhere, the Sequencer Grenade. If anyone knows what that is, please let me know. That sounds super interesting. A Nebula 5 minigun, so a minigun that's firing Nebula 5 bullets, I guess. Foresight, a specialist bonus, or several classified weapons. So you've got this new contract. It'll be like a supply run, but instead of taking you to just a normal buy station, it'll take you to a special black market buy station where you can buy some cool stuff, some weird stuff. That's going to be really interesting. Now, another thing that's super weird about this and unique to this is that there's going to be straggling mercenaries attempting to airlift their cash off Fortune's Keep. So I'm guessing these are AI soldiers, and you can see some of them here. They all seem to have these like yellow heads, helmets. I don't know what they've got, wraps around their head. but there's going to be AI soldiers trying to do an airlift you can go and interrupt and take the money from. So that sounds interesting. Obviously, we know that in Warzone 2, there's going to be loads of AI soldiers, so maybe this is a bit of a test of that. We've seen them a little bit already on Caldera, but it'll be interesting to see kind of how smart they are, what sort of weapons they have and stuff like that. That seems kind of cool to me. Now, another thing that's mentioned a few places on here, but I think it's a good time to talk about this now. A really important thing that's been mentioned in this blog and has been confirmed for us now is that Fortune's Keep is not replacing Rebirth Island. For a very short time, Rebirth Island is going to be taken off the playlist, but they've said that it's a really short time, then it's going to be coming right back, and there's some stuff about Rebirth Island in this. So that means we're not just replacing Rebirth Island with Fortune's Keep, instead we're going to have 3 Warzone maps at a go. So there's going to be different playlists on different maps. That sounds absolutely awesome to me. I'm super excited because I really like Rebirth Island. So that's really cool that they've decided to keep all 3 of them. Not sure if that's going to make the file size absolutely huge. This does look like Fortune's Keep's using a lot of Caldera stuff maybe, so maybe I've kept it small that way. But yeah, 3 maps in Warzone, that's awesome. So Caldera's changing as well. They've added Storage Town to it. Now, they've said the storage town is pretty much the same, but obviously there's some big differences. You've got this big water tower in the middle, and they talk about the fact that there's actually cliffs on the side of it. So it says, as a part of Caldera, storage town will be near steep cliffs in the middle of the island. This additional verticality will add a twist to the fan favourite point of interest. So imagine on storage town, it was always obviously quite good to climb on the rooftops of the storage lockers and sort of hop about from them to get a drop on people. Now you can have people from the cliffs shooting down on you. You did have the swimming pool before where people could shoot down before, but it didn't seem to be that much of a problem usually. This is going to be interesting to see how it changes the way storage plays, but I'm excited to be getting it. And on that screenshot you can see another picture of something that looks kind of cool going on there that we'll talk about in a second. So we're also getting some new features for Caldera aside from just getting storage. So there's a severe drought hitting Caldera, which we talked about in a video looking at the map. So the rivers are drying up and mercenary forces are adding camps around the island. Not sure if there's going to be AI in Caldera or whether that's just saying, you know, for flavor text, that's why there's new camps everywhere. And there's going to be loads of points of interest changes, so over a dozen. So it's saying there's lots of small camps appearing, there's bits of scaffolding on lots of buildings in Capital to help you get up to the rooftops, some steps near the gondola station, and then there's some mercenary vaults cropping up. Expect to find these scattered around the island. Now this is probably the best hint we've got of an Easter egg coming to Warzone. So on Caldera they're talking about mercenary vaults appearing. No idea if this is something that we're going to be able to open straight away. It might just be something that's open, you can just walk straight into it and get stuff, or it might be an Easter egg, no idea. This is probably the first thing that we're going to look at on my stream on the 22nd. I'll be streaming live as soon as all of this comes up, and that might be the first thing that we're looking into. And it says, come back to the blog next week for a guide to both maps. So I think if there's any other hints like Easter eggs for Fortune's Keep, we'll probably get them in those blog posts. It's kind of a shame that there's no mention of anything now, there's no like redacted bits or anything. I'm kind of getting the impression there's not going to be an Easter egg at launch for Fortune's Keep, but obviously if there's more information on those blog posts, I'll do another video giving you an update. Now some other cool stuff coming to Warzone, and there's still plenty more coming to Warzone. The armoured SUV, so this is a new vehicle, armoured version SUV, big turret on the top, nitro boosters on the back. This thing's going to be absolutely insane. So it's saying there's a rooftop turret seat and room for operators to use their own loadout weapons from the inside. So it's basically like a platform for people to drive around fast and shoot people, and it's got a nitro boost, so you can like boost around, do jumps and stuff. This thing's going to be crazy. There's also some new stuff coming to plunder, so there's ATMs in the plunder game modes which will spawn money every now and then. So it says funds periodically spawn near ATMs up to a maximum holding, so these are going to be locations that are like worth checking. They don't look like they're integrated into the map in like a natural way, instead they're on these big platform things, almost like when you're at a music festival and you see ATMs and those big weird trucks. But yeah, so that's like a new place where you're going to be able to go to try and get money up from in plunder, if you like plunder. I don't really play much. They also talk about EMP grenades, which will disable vehicles and disrupt enemy players and AI. It's kind of interesting they mention AI there, but that's a new thing that you're going to be able to pick up. I'm not sure if that's a new tactical grenade or that you'll be able to use in loadouts, or whether it's just something you find, but it's something that's coming to the game. And then, oh, and it says affected players are stripped of their HUD information, which could be really powerful. You think that's something where if it completely strips your minimap and pings, like people won't be able to ping each other, that could be absolutely huge. No word on whether it affects things like the, the snapshot grenades or combat scout. It'll be interesting to see whether it shuts them down as well, because that could be huge if you can push and make the enemy basically completely blind for everything other than what they can literally see and hear. Then Golden Plunder is a limited time mode that's coming in, and this has another weird thing that sounds a tiny bit like an Easter egg, but I don't think it is one. So Golden Plunder is a new plunder mode coming in. It's like Blood Money, it's a limited time thing, but some of the changes are there's more players, 120 instead of 100. Players drop more cash. The cash required for victory is 5 million instead of, you know, 1 million starting the final countdown. And then it also says you can go to malfunctioning ATM machines that are just spewing out cash endlessly, or you can hunt down one of the infamous golden key cards, which is rumoured to allow access to a bunker filled with all sorts of valuable new loot. Now obviously that's interesting to me because they mention a bunker. Is this going to be the bunker on the side of Peak, or is it going to be some new place? I've got no idea, but that's kind of interesting. I don't think it sounds like an Easter egg. It sounds like a place where you'll be able to get loads of money, but whatever happens, obviously on stream we'll be getting in there. I'll make a video about it, about how to open this place. To me it's kind of sounding a bit like maybe the Nakatomi Plaza vault or something like that, where it's not too interesting. We probably won't get a blueprint, but we might get something cool from that. Then there's even more stuff. There's the Mercenaries of Fortune event, which is coming at the beginning of it. So this has 8 challenges, just like the Operation Monarch event and stuff like that, and if you complete them you get weapon camos, reticle, charm, emblem, sticker, and a legendary animated calling card. It says if you complete all of them you get the gold skin for the armored SUV, which you can actually see that. I think there's a screenshot. If I scroll up there, that's that skin. So if you want the gold skin for it, you have to complete the challenges to be able to get that. I mean, it looks kind of gaudy and awful, so that's cool, I think. That's a nice thing. And then, yeah, that's about it. It says, then there's a terminal list tournaments. There's a tournament happening, which is apparently in Australia, New Zealand, and Japan based, which is interesting. Something to do with some Amazon Prime TV show. Apparently, not much interest in that, really. And then it says there's going to be a mid-season update. There's going to be more coming to it. And it says there's going to be something called Titanium Trials Endurance, an updated version of highly competitive Iron Trials. And it also says there's going to be some other stuff coming onto Rebirth Island. So it says there, contact appears to have been temporarily lost at this theatre of combat. However, expect re-establishment of communications and access this location shortly. So like I said, Rebirth Island is going away for a bit, but it's going to be coming back soon. So once they add a playlist for it. There's going to be weekly playlist updates to curate experiences across the trio of playable maps, the brand new Fortune's Keep locale, Rebirth Island, and Caldera as season gets underway. So they're going to jump backs and forwards with it. There's also a little hint, if you look back up at the roadmap right at the top, there's this thing here that says Rebirth of the Dead. So there's some kind of zombie-based thing happening on Rebirth Island. That's in season, so it probably won't be anytime soon. We'll probably be waiting a few weeks for that one. But that's kind of cool. We might be getting something maybe a bit like Haunting of Verdansk, but on Rebirth Island. That could be super intense. Really excited about that. They don't talk about it too much because I think that's probably quite a long way away. Then we can talk about some of the stuff that is coming to Call of Duty Vanguard. So we've got, obviously, one of the most exciting things that's happening is that we have the Zombies map. So it says there, Zombies brings classic round-based playing Shino Numa. Loads of stuff going on here. So you've got the Wonder Weapon, you've got the Electric Wonder Waff. You've also got, you can see some of the enemies from normal Vanguard Zombies. So this is something that disappoints me a little bit. It looks like they are carrying on with the story of Vanguard Zombies. They're carrying on with those same enemy types. I'm guessing the gameplay is actually going to be a lot more similar to traditional Vanguard Zombies than we thought. That's a real shame, but still I'm excited to try this, and there's some good stuff coming to it they talk about here. So they say team up and conquer a swamp of death in classic round-based zombies play, featuring a new main quest and side quests, a new Wonder Weapon quest, fresh intel, and more. So there's some cool stuff there. Obviously when I say a new main quest and side quests, they're kind of talking about what people refer to as Easter eggs, but for a while now they've been talking about them as quests that they're going to guide you on it. So I'm guessing it will be a bit more simple than past Easter eggs. I don't think there's going to be some amazing Easter egg hunt on this map. I think it's going to be pretty straightforward, just like Terra Maledicta was, where it's like basically told you everything you need to do. Everything was pretty obvious. There's a little bit of kind of hunting for an object or something like that, but that'll be about it. They say there are side quests and a Wonder Weapon quest and some fresh intel. The intel in Vanguard's a bit rubbish because you can't go back and listen to it. You have to kind of listen to it in game and that's it. So yeah, I'm kind of losing a little bit of hype here for Shino Numa, but I'm sure it'll still be fun. It'll still be something fun to explore. So it says for the quest, wade through the swamps as you journey on a multi-step quest culminating in a devastating battle. So we get a boss battle. There was kind of a battle at the end of Terra Maledicta, but it wasn't very interesting. But this seems like, okay, we're getting some kind of, it says devastating battle. It might not be a boss battle, I guess. It could just be they're adding loads of special zombies to it or something stupid like that. And then if you complete it, you get a calling card for it. Then it also says there's multiple side quests waiting to be uncovered. So, I mean, that's fine, I guess. It talks about the fact there's zip lines. It says when a horse is too close to your heels, or you can run them through the flogger or use the electroshock defenses. Those are traps that are on the original Shi No Numa map. So it doesn't sound like they're adding that much to it, which is a bit weird. And then it says experience the map in a new way through Vanguard's unique features like exchanging your sacrificial hearts for upgrades. Now, I'd speculated in a video the other day that they were going to get rid of the heart system and get rid of the upgrade system. Turns out, nope, they're keeping it. This is very much a Vanguard Zombies map. Again, little bit disappointed by that, to be honest. I was hoping they were going to go back to more like how Black Ops Cold War worked, but I guess they're not. They're sort of removing that whole thing of going through portals. I'm not sure how you're going to get hearts now, but they are still sticking with this whole system of hearts and upgrades and stuff. Who knows, maybe they would have made it much better. I do think the language in this blog post makes it sound a bit like there's not that much news, like the fact that they're pointing out in a paragraph, oh, we can use zipline systems, and it's like, yeah, like the original map. Like, that's not something new or exciting. But oh well. It does say, keep an eye on this blog for a Shi No Numa map guide coming next week. So at some point, Monday or Tuesday, we're going to get a zombies guide that'll tell us a little bit more about this. Now, I'll rattle through the rest of the stuff because the rest of the stuff is a little bit less interesting, but we have a new map coming at launch, the launch of Season 4, so on Wednesday. So we've got one new map coming to Call of Duty Vanguard Multiplayer. I do feel like Vanguard Multiplayer has been kind of, I don't know, it's got the short end of the stick with all of this stuff, hasn't it? There's barely any content for multiplayer. There's been like one map at the beginning of each season. It's a real shame that they're doing that, but I guess maybe it hasn't been as popular as other games, so they've decided not to spend as much on it as they are on Warzone. But yeah, you're getting Texas 1945, which I think was a map that was on World War II. Isn't it a map that like is a little bit like, is it a little bit like Hijacked? I'm not sure. But yeah, I'm pretty sure it's a map that was on World War II anyway. So that's coming. That's absolutely fine. Oh yeah, it does say reimagining of USS Texas map from World War II. That's right. I thought I'd gone crazy about that. But it's moved from the White Cliffs of Dover to the water around Caldera. Fair enough. And then later on in the season, you're going to get Desolation, which is another map that says a small to medium map in a dense village. It's a Pacific listening post, apparently. I don't know, it doesn't sound particularly interesting or quirky in any way. A lot of the Vanguard maps they've released since launch haven't been that interesting, I don't think. This is something that I am excited about and I will play. They're bringing Gun Game back to Vanguard. It's the first of the party games to come back to Vanguard, which is a real shame it hasn't had party games. Like, that's one of the biggest things that stopped me from running custom games and stuff in it. But we are getting Gun Game back, so that's exciting. That's something that I'll definitely put some time into. Just a shame we're not getting like Sticks and Stones and One in the Chamber and all good stuff like that. Then it talks about there being, obviously, there's a new ranked season and rewards, which is exactly what you'd expect there to be. Then there's a bit of an overview here about other stuff that you're getting. So you're getting new guns, you're getting new operators, the 4 new weapons, 2 of them are in a battle pass, 2 of them will come with challenges like normal. You're getting the Marco 5, which is like a little Uzi type looking thing, high mobility submachine gun. I feel like we already have a lot of high mobility submachine guns, like we already have a lot of these tiny little things. You know, even the Armaguerra isn't that old, and it seems to fit in this role. But anyway, that's something that's happening. One interesting thing about this gun is it's the first SMG in Vanguard to have akimbo, so you can have 2 of these, so that's kind of interesting. That might be fun running around with a couple of them in Warzone. Then we're getting the UGM, which is a big LMG. Again, high rate fire rate mobile LMG that excels at creating suppressing fire. Haven't we already got quite a lot of guns that do that? Like, this just seems to fit in the same role as lots of the other LMGs that already exist. Seems like a bit of a waste to me. Then you're getting a push dagger, which is just like a tiny little dagger melee weapon that's going to come at some point over the next few weeks. It says the challenge for this. I don't know if they always put the challenge in it, but it says here, to get 5 melee kills with a primary weapon in a single match 15 times. Obviously, this is one of these things, again, where if you're trying to unlock this in Warzone, that's going to be quite hard. Getting 5 melee kills in a match of Warzone. I mean, in Plunder, I guess you could probably do it, but in normal games, that would be super difficult. Or in Zombies, get 100 kills with a melee weapon while shrouded by your Ether Shroud. That's 100% going to be the easiest way to do this. 100 kills with a melee weapon while in Ether Shroud, that's super easy to do. So I think that'll be the quick way if you want to unlock this little blade. Although I'm never that fussed about unlocking melee weapons, to be honest. And then you get the Vargo S, like we just got a Vargo in Black Ops Cold War. Now we're getting it in Vanguard for some reason. And that says that there's going to be something to do with the seasonal battle pass, apparently. Oh, there we go. Unlock the push tag. Oh, unlock the first 2 guns with the battle pass. And then the Vargo S is going to have the challenges. But this one, I don't think tells us the challenges for it. So that's a shame. Then it talks about the operators. We've got Butcher. I'd completely not really ever realised that Butcher wasn't in the game, but Butcher is coming to the game. We're also getting Callum Hendry. So we're getting this Scottish, I'm guessing he's Scottish because he's got tartan wrapped around him. So he's coming in. Then we've got Ikena Aloe, I'm guessing that's how you say that, coming in season. And then I think it talks about, oh no, it doesn't even mention the other bundles. There are some other bundles and stuff coming, so I'm sure there'll be some other fancy things to show off. Interesting, they chose to use a screenshot of zombies there towards the end, so you can see the pack-a-punch machine and stuff. But yeah, so that's everything. If you've got any questions about this, stuff that you're not sure about, stuff that you really like, stuff that you're really excited about, please let me know in the comments. I'd be really interested to hear what people think about this. I'm personally really excited about all this stuff. I think Season 4 looks really good, mostly for the Warzone stuff. There's tons of cool stuff coming to Warzone. A new map is absolutely awesome and was so unexpected. The fact that we get to keep Rebirth and there's this cool zombies thing coming to Rebirth. The fact that we've got a load of stuff changing in Caldera. We've got new like features coming to it, like a new vehicle and stuff. It all sounds awesome to me. Zombies, I'm a little bit more lukewarm on than I was. I was super excited, but now I'm a little bit less so because it sounds more like just normal Vanguard zombies, which kind of sucks. And then the multiplayer stuff I don't really care about. But gun game's cool, so that's good. So yeah, let me know what you think of all this in the comments. If you liked the video, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you soon. Goodbye.